Hi everyone and welcome to RC Fun and Games. I am Ryan and today we are going to get stuck into the trx4m 6x6 build. If you guys watched the last video, you would have seen me review this chassis, which is made by GRRC and I found on AliExpress. Now, we put a motor, we put some electronics, we took it out for a test, and I spoke about a few issues I had with it when I got it. But besides that, it's a pretty cool platform. It's got some nice parts with it. So I am actually going to use the two rear axles on this build. I'm probably also going to use a handful of their links, the ones I can get away with. And I'm definitely going to be using their shocks. These shocks here are actually really long. From hole to hole is 68. There's quite a few components I'm definitely going to use. But let's talk about the ones that I've removed, that I'm not going to be using. So I've taken out the transmission, which there's nothing wrong with this transmission. It's a very nice transmission, very heavy with all the brass, so really awesome, but I'll use it in another build. I've taken out the front axle. I just don't like the way the C hubs work and everything else on this. Besides that, they are very smooth, they're very nice axles, and I've got nothing to complain about. We'll definitely be using this brass axle in another build. But that's two things I've taken out. I've also taken out the brass battery tray. I'm definitely not going to be running that, as I'm going to be using the battery tray space to put my electronics, and the battery will have to go up on the back. Next thing I took off were, of course, the bumpers. I'm not going to be using these bumpers with the IR40 body, so both of these are going to go. I'll probably use them in the future on another build of some sort, but they are really cool bumpers and they are made from brass. So these are the components that I'm not going to be running on this build. Okay, there's a few parts that did not arrive on time for this build, but we will put them on in a future video. So for now, let's get stuck in fitting the parts I've got, and let's talk about what I am going to fit to this rig. So we are definitely going to be running the 370 motor transmission combo from Injora. That's 100%. I am going to be fitting a normal extended black axle with the laydown servo. That's definitely going to go in the front. I wanted to use a diamond axle, so it looks similar to the others, but this is what I have in stock, so it's going to get used. Now, I'll probably also be throwing the carbon fiber battery tray. We will definitely be using the MB100 from Injora, and we are definitely going to be running the 11 kilogram coreless servo from Injora, which I've used in 5 or 6 of my builds now, and it's been really reliable and an excellent servo. I've even run them in water with absolutely no issues, so if that's your concern, don't worry about it, pick them up. I think lots of people have run them in water with no issues. Now, we are also going to be using the turbine 1.3 rims, okay, on this build. 2 packets, of course, the other one's here in the back. And we're going to be running the new tires from Injora, which are also the 1.3, 70, if I'm not mistaken, 70 mil by 26 mil. They've got a really cool tread. I really like these tires. I think they look really cool and they're really going to suit this truck. Now, we're also going to be running the IR40 body. Now, I've got both of them in stock, the tan and the blue. So I'll have to choose which one I'm going to run on this truck. And of course, 3DRC did a killer job with this awesome back for the 6x6 truck. I know he's working on a few more, and this is just a prototype, so it will be a lot better than this. And I printed this at my place, so I just printed it quickly because I don't have much patience for 3D printing. But it's done, it's there. I've still got to fit the mounting system so I can get it to mount. And I printed myself a little Stinger front bumper for the IR40 as well. So those are things I still got to put together, but we'll get to that towards the end of the build. So let's get stuck in and see what we're going to start with on this build. And I say we start by taking the axle, the servo, and I have a few more things lying around that I'm still going to be fitting. So let's just see. Where are they? Yes. Okay. So we are definitely going to be running some brass diff covers on this axle. Injora was nice enough to send out the new adjustable C hubs, so we're going to give those a test and see how they work out. They also sent me the blocks that's supposed to take the brass weights on, but as we know, there's a few issues with that, and they asked me to not bother using them at the moment until they have fixed the issues. So I'm just going to run the C hubs and the blocks to add some weight to this axle. So let's get stuck in fitting all these components to this front axle. Now these are the axles that were on my IR40 build, which I removed, and then I stole the internals so I could use them on the new diamond axles when I had issues. So we have put the new shaft in which they sent to me, so it's all complete and ready to go. Okay, so let's start by putting on these few components onto the axle. And as you can see, it's already got our grease in there, so I don't have to grease it. So as you all can see, I got identical diff covers to the originals. Okay, now I'll just tell you the weight difference between the two. Okay, so I just threw them both on the scale, and the aluminium original one only weighs 3 grams, the new one weighs 9.5 grams. So we're adding 6.5 grams with just the diff cover. Diff cover is changed. Now let's get these off, let's get the C-hubs and the blocks changed. So grab the new adjustable C-hubs. Okay, so here we are, and you can see what they've done is they've given us a groove so that you can twist it so you can keep them standing the way they're supposed to. This was very well thought, and I'm really happy that this is available now. So this is going to go upwards. Yeah, check that out. Look how that works. Now this axle is going to be sitting pretty flat, so I'm probably going to keep it right there. Quickly, before I throw this on there, let's just compare the weight from one to the other. Okay, and the weight difference between the two. So this is the original aluminum one, is 1.7 grams. This one weighs 5.4. So also a huge gain in weight. Now you've got a little word Injora. If you want it standing up, make sure it faces upwards. Okay, bearings out. So let's check the weight difference between the two. Okay, so the originals weigh 2.5 grams, these weigh 12.8 grams. So over 10 grams extra over the original one. So let's get that on there. And a little trick to make it a lot easier is just take this bearing and throw it over the top so that the pin can't keep coming out. Like that, it saves you a lot of hassle just by doing this. We've still got our servo to throw on, so let's get the servo out and let's get this thrown on there. Then we can check the final weight of the front axle. Okay, so it's time we throw this on the truck. I just wanted to say the difference between the weight now is this one's 118 grams, the other one is 138 grams. So I'm still missing 20 grams. If I could have fitted those extra weights on the knuckles, that would have made a big difference. Or even just get some links that are in brass. So let's see what I can find. I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. Now let's get it thrown on the front of the truck. Okay, for now, I'm still going to have to use the drive shafts that came with the truck because all the ones I ordered for some reason got lost in the mail. So they should be by the end of the week, hopefully, and I will address all those issues in another video. But for now, we can run what's there. So let's go. Let's get this in there. This chassis is very wide on top, okay, so it will definitely allow for the lay down servo. That's not an issue. We've got plenty of clearance, but the angle on the two front shocks is too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna have to remove them again so I can put a spacer over here just to allow for it not to catch on the chassis. So let's get that out again. Okay, well, now that we've got the front axle in and moving nicely, let's get the next part done. Okay, so let's move on to installing the 370 motor and aluminum transmission with reduction gears from Injora. I have the V1 version. I used it on the Jeep build. The actual setup of the transmission and motor were excellent. The electronics, on the other hand, weren't great. But it still runs, got plenty of power. It's just that reverse feature, which is not great. Now, let's see what this runs like with the MB100 in this truck. Let's see if it's got enough power in reverse, and let's see the power gains, of course, going forward. So this is a new product that Injora has just released. It's the V2, and I have been looking forward to installing it in one of my rigs, and I saved it for the 6x6 because I think he could do with the extra power. Now, let's just open this up quickly. Let's check out if it needs some grease. And I believe I have asked Injora before, but the normal gears that we use on any of the other transmissions also work in this transmission, okay? So I just thought I'll throw that out there so you guys know. Okay, let's push that down. Let's pull this up. Okay. So let's see. We've got all our bearings sitting there. The bearings at the bottom are there. Everything seems to be there. If you pay attention, you have got some white grease in there. Most of it is on the side of the gear, then on the gears, but there is, I can't complain. It's got actually quite a bit of grease on there. I'm still gonna grab a bit of grease and I'm gonna throw it around these over here, just to make sure they've got enough grease on those teeth. Okay, now that we've checked it and greased it up, let's get this thrown in. Now I find it extremely difficult to try and get this screw in, and I don't see the point of having the fourth screw over there. It's not going to need it, it's plenty stuck, so I'm going to leave it without that screw on that side. Okay, there you are. So front drive shaft is finally on, and I think I'll do exactly the same thing to the rear drive shaft as well. Just take it out and put it on. It's easier than trying to get it to go together. Okay, once again, when fitting the drive shafts, make sure that they are in phase. Now, these over here, I can't get them 100% in phase, but that's not bad. They are pretty much exactly in line, and so forth, so forward. So it should give me a nice drive. Okay, and like you guys can see, I'm still running the plastic drive shaft in the back. As soon as all the other components arrive, we will change them. Okay, now that we've got all that done, let's move on to fitting some links on the back axle, because I'm not quite happy with the angles of the axle. So what I do have lying around at the moment is a set for the high trail. So I'm going to grab these, I'm going to build a few of them, and I'm going to see what is the best fit for the rear axle on this truck. So let's get these all out. Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys by assembling these on camera. I am just going to talk about it and I'll show you roughly what we're going to do. Okay, so I just want to show you guys what I did to the rear axle on this, because I didn't do it on camera. It was very difficult to try and catch it all. So if you can see on there, it's got two spaces on either side, and I have put it on the same holes as the lower links, okay, but one up. Okay, now the lower links, I'm going to show you from the bottom. The lower links, I have used a ball joint to space them to the middle, so they can have the same clearance as the other links in the front. Look at the setup, it now looks identical. They're both crisscross the way they're supposed to. Okay, this means now the axle doesn't have sideways movement. It's way better set up than what it was, and it moves nice and freely, same as this one moves nice and freely. So I'm not going to mess with any more of the links at the moment until my other links come in. This is just going to have to do, and I'll also fit a better drive shaft as soon as it arrives. I'll probably do that throughout the whole truck, but for now I think it's doing pretty good the way it is. So let's move on. Let's get on to the next stage of this build, because I am dying to get the body and the wheels and everything else on this truck. So okay, so I'm going to be using a 4mm hex spacer on the front axle, and I'm going to be using 10mm hex spacers on the rear. So let's find our pins, let's get everything installed so we can throw our wheels on. Okay, so right now we've got all of them on. So let's move on to the next stage. Let's grab our rims. And like I mentioned, we are going to be running the new turbine 1.3 inch rims. And I do think they look amazing. And this is probably going to be the factor what's going to make me choose the blue body is probably these rims because of the outside. But they do look awesome with both bodies on, so I still don't know. Now we are going to be putting some cool tires on here, and we are going to be fitting the awesome new cling-on tire pattern from Injora. Look at that, guys. It looks so cool. I am not kidding. I really like these tires. I think they look really cool. So I think this combo with the turbine rims and these cling-on tires, I think is going to be pretty awesome for this 6x6 build. Now, if you do buy these rims, just make sure you do put screws into these little holes over here, because there's only 2 connected, there's still 4 holes open, and all the rims I checked seem to have the same thing. So just make sure when you are going to assemble your rims, make sure you throw these 4 screws in as well. And I'm not going to bore you assembling them on camera again, I'm just going to show you the quick way, which is, so as you can see, that was pretty quick. Okay, here we are, we got all 6 assembled and ready to go. So let's get them onto the truck. I also see they provided these little black washers, which look like they should keep these nuts from falling off. So I'm gonna give them a try and see how they work. I just wanted to point out that I made a mistake earlier, and these are 6mm hexes, they are not the 4, which gives us the same width as the rear axles. Okay, so let's install the carbon fiber battery tray next. I'm not going to put the sides on because I don't want them. So all I'm going to do is put the 2 spacers and run it over there like that. Okay, now that we've got to this stage, we're pretty much ready to put the electronics on so that we can get our servo horn on. Let's grab the MB100. I really do like the MB100. There's only one problem. Why can't they just give us 100% reverse? I don't understand why we need 50% reverse, and I would really like to see them change that now in the future and give us an option to at least have 100% or 50%. Or just make it with 100% reverse, 100% forward. That would make me really happy with this product. It's a great little electronic unit and it works really well, way better than the original Traxxas one, that's for sure. Now, let's grab one of these, as we've got some lying around. Okay. And we'll put that there for now. Let's grab the transmitter and receiver combo I have gone for this time is a Spectrum. I am using the DX5 Rugged and I have gone for the SR515. So let's get this one in there as well. We just need a piece of Velcro on the bottom. Yeah, and if you guys are wondering why there's a piece of red tape, it's because one of my rabbits decided to chew on it yesterday. So luckily I caught it before it destroyed it. Now let's get the wiring done. So to see if I can show you guys the wiring, it's gonna go like this, negative being this way, and this one is gonna go port number 2. This is gonna go straight across to here, and then the same way, make sure negative is to negative, positive is to positive, and the white one is the home. So let's push that in there. Okay, so that one's on. So this is their battery cable. This allows you to use the original Traxxas battery, and that's what I'm going to be running in here for now until I can find a 3S battery I can use, because I just can't. If you guys know of a 3S battery on AliExpress that I can use for these little crawlers, please share a link to me so I can go and have a look. I'd like to order some so we can do some testing on 3S with the MB100. I still haven't been able to do that as I've got no 3S batteries that will fit this kind of truck. Anyway, now that we've got both of those on, all we have is the motor wire what's got to go in, which I don't want to loosen because it's pretty much in the right place. Now, positive is positive, negative is negative. I might need a little bit more cable. Okay. Okay, all we're missing now is our servo, which is really easy. Normally, it always goes to port number 1 on the receiver. So, pretty simple. All right, tight fit. It's in. Okay. So, as you can all see, I'll bring you a bit closer so you can have a good look at the wiring. This is how it's ended up. So, steering is port 1. MB100 is port 2. And then you've just got the battery one, and then of course you've got the motor cable that's got to go in. Besides that, it's very simple to do, and you mustn't be scared of this kind of thing. Once you get to know the electronics, it's all very, very easy. Okay, now that we've got all this connected, we can stick our battery in the back here. Okay. Let's just get the servo on and everything. And here is the controller I'm running, like I've mentioned. It is the Spectrum DX5 Rugged, and we are just going to turn that on. Let's turn this on. Let's hope everything is right. Okay, now that we've got the battery connected and everything turned on, the servo's trim is on 0, so now we can put our servo horn on. Let's just check that we definitely got movement, no problem. Everything seems to be working. Okay, so we're going to be putting this little guy on there. So let's just grab him. Don't forget a touch of Loctite on this screw. And as you can see, works great. Plenty of power and speed with that MB100 and the 11 kilogram servo. It's got a nice crawl, can't complain. And as you can see, plenty of power in reverse. Even with a rig like that, I was barely touching it. So I'm not too worried, like I say, about the reverse from the MB100. Okay, now that we've got this all ready, it's time to move on to the body. Let's grab this. Let's open this up. Let's start getting the body assembled so we can get it onto the truck. I know it's already got a sticker on there, but between all the mocking up and everything, I decided to throw a sticker on there. Now, let's just grab what we get inside the box. Okay, so we get our light kit, we get the back for the truck, of course, like we all know, and our instructions and the hardware needed to do the installation. Okay, I'm gonna start by tightening in the window. Okay, so now moving on to the front grille, let's pop our lights in there. We're then gonna grab the front grille they provide. Now all we've got to do is just grab our little lights and put it over the back. We are then gonna grab the M 1.4 by 6, which is the middle size screws. And just to finish off that front grille, I might as well throw a little Toyota sticker on there. It's not perfect, but at least it looks better than just a blank grille. Okay, now let's move on to fitting our bumpers, and I've gone for 3D RC's design of the Stinger bumper for the IR40, so I'm gonna use that on the front here. So let's get it installed. Now this comes with some funny little plates with this chassis, so put those back on. That's solid, that's not going nowhere, and it looks really awesome. This is already on because I had to mock it up to make sure that it was in the right level and everything else when I produced it. So that's already there, but it's very simple. It's just your little 3D printed part with the normal mount that you get with the IR40, okay? And that's it, guys. Finally, it is all assembled and ready to get out and go and do some tests. I'm really happy with the way the body ended up. It easily pivots all the way and comes back down. Just clip in and done. It stays on, it's not going nowhere. So the whole design worked out really great. And once again, 3DRC printing and design has killed the design on the bed on the back. It looks awesome. I love the front bumper. I will also be printing one of these grills with the Toyota logo on it. So I'll be doing quite a few more things to this. He will also be working on an interior because he'll have to change the design a bit because of this bigger motor in here. So let's see what he can come up with so we can put an interior in these trucks. The way this just clips on is just awesome. I love the way it moves around. It's so smooth. It feels really, really good. And I'm really happy with all the products I've used. So I have ordered another chassis the same. I've ordered the center axle, but the next one we're going to be using diamond axles from Injora. We're going to be building it up with my own links. We're going to do a completely different setup. So the bed in the back will also have to change a bit, but that's for the next video. For now, this was the first IR60 trx4m build on the channel, and I'm sure there will be more. So if you guys enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really, really helps my small little channel out. Now, all I've got left to say is thanks for joining me, and I'm gonna leave you guys with some running footage of it on the backyard course. So until the next one, guys, happy trails.